8 billion parameters. That's the size of a serious AI model, the kind that needs a data center. This one fits in 1.15 gigabytes, smaller than most phone games, and it runs on an iPhone 17 Pro at 40 tokens per second. No cloud, no server, just your phone. The company is PrismML. The model is Bonsai 8B, and this might be the most important AI release of the year. To understand why this matters, you need to understand the problem it solves. AI models have been getting bigger every year. GPT-2 had 1.5 billion parameters. GPT-3 had 175 billion. GPT-4 reportedly had 1.76 trillion, and the file sizes follow. Llama 3 at 70 billion parameters, that's a 140 gigabyte download. Running these models means renting GPU clusters at $4 an hour or more. That's nearly $3,000 a month just to keep a model online. And every query goes to the cloud. Your data leaves your device, hits a server, comes back. That's latency, that's privacy risk, and that's a point of failure. On-device AI has been stuck at 3 billion parameters. PrismML found a way to blow past that limit, and the key is one number. In a normal AI model, every parameter is stored as a 32-bit floating point number. That's a lot of precision. Quantization reduces that 16-bit, 8-bit, 4-bit trading precision for size. The industry consensus was that 4 bits was the floor. Go lower and model quality falls off a cliff. PrismML went to 1 bit. Every single weight in the network is either +1 or -1. That's it. Think about that. Instead of storing 3.14159 with all those decimals, every weight is just a plus or a minus, on or off. And here's the trick. When weights are binary, matrix multiplications become additions and subtractions. Way fewer CPU cycles per operation. But PrismML didn't just compress an existing model. They trained Bonsai from scratch with 1-bit constraints baked in. The model learns to be smart within those limits from day one. The weights are 1 bit, but activations, the signals flowing through the network, stay at higher precision. That's where the intelligence lives. The result? 8 billion parameters, 1.15 gigabytes, 40 tokens per second on mobile silicon. But does it actually work? Let's look at the numbers. On MMELU, the standard knowledge benchmark, Bonsai 8B scores within 5% of full precision Llama 3 8B at 1/60th the file size. Code generation is strong. It handles Python, JavaScript, and structured outputs with surprisingly few errors. Reasoning and logic tasks, the ones that usually break small models, Bonsai holds up. Not perfect, but genuinely capable. Where does it lose ground? Creative writing and nuanced tone, about 8 to 12% below full precision on subjective quality ratings. Let me be clear, this is not GPT-4, but for a model you can hold in your hand, nothing else comes close. And here's the kicker, at 40 tokens per second, it's actually faster than ChatGPT's cloud inference for most users. On your phone. Okay, so it's small and fast. Why should you care? First, privacy. Every conversation, every query, every piece of data stays on your device. Nothing hits a server. Nothing gets logged. Nothing gets trained on. Second, it works offline. Airplane mode, subway tunnel, middle of nowhere. Your AI doesn't care. Third, zero marginal cost. No API fees. No per token charges. Run it 1,000,000 times a day and your bill is zero. Fourth, latency disappears. Cloud round trips take hundreds of milliseconds. Local inference, under 10. And fifth, this is the big one. 2 billion people with smartphones but unreliable internet just got access to real AI, not a chatbot, a genuine language model. So who is PrismML and where did they come from? PrismML is a startup laser focused on efficient inference. Small team, big ambitions, and a mountain of research papers on quantization theory. They just closed a $16.25 million seed round led by Khosla Ventures. Khosla's track record matters. Early backer of OpenAI, Stripe, DoorDash. They don't write checks for demos. They write checks for real technology. 16 million for a seed round is aggressive. That's 3 to 4 times a typical AI seed. Khosla is signaling serious conviction. And then there's the license. Apache 2.0. Fully open source. Use it commercially. Modify it. Ship it in a product. No strings attached. That's a strategic choice. PrismML is betting that adoption beats control. Get the model everywhere, then build a business on top. Now let's talk about who should be worried. Cloud inference is a massive business. AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud charge billions for AI compute. If models run locally, that revenue evaporates. OP providers like OpenAI and Anthropic charge per token. When inference is free and local, the per token model breaks. Now, to be fair, this doesn't replace GPT-4 or Claude for complex tasks, but 80% of daily AI use cases, summarization, drafting, code completion, quick answers, Bonsai handles those fine. That's an 80-20 split that sends 80% of inference revenue to zero. Apple and Google have been building on-device AI teams for years, but they're targeting custom models for their own features. Bonsai is an open model anyone can use in any app. Expect a developer gold rush. Any app that currently calls a cloud API for AI features can now run locally. Faster, cheaper, private. And it's not just phones. IoT devices, drones, medical equipment, vehicles, anything with a decent processor can now run real AI. Alright, let me put on the skeptic hat for a minute. Benchmarks can be cherry-picked. PrismML chose which tests to highlight. We need independent evaluations on a wider range of tasks before crowning this a revolution. 8 billion parameters is impressive at 1 bit, but can this technique scale to 70 billion? 400 billion? That's unproven. 40 tokens per second on an iPhone 17 Pro. That's Apple's latest silicon. Older phones will be significantly slower, and Android performance varies wildly. There may be a fundamental quality ceiling with 1-bit precision. Some tasks genuinely need those extra bits of numerical resolution, and PrismML is a seed stage startup. 90% of startups fail. Great technology doesn't guarantee great execution, but here's my honest assessment. Even accounting for every caveat, what PrismML has demonstrated is genuinely new. The concerns are real. The achievement is also real. So what happens from here? The open source community is already all over this. 50,000 GitHub stars in the first week. Forks everywhere. People are fine-tuning it for specific tasks. Fine-tuned variants are already appearing. Medical bonsai, legal bonsai, code-specialized bonsai. The ecosystem is forming fast. If 1-bit models take off, chip manufacturers will optimize for them. Dedicated binary operation units could make this 10 times faster within 2 generations. PrismML has hinted at Bonsai 16B and 32B. If the scaling holds, you get a 32 billion parameter model under 5 gigabytes. The big labs will respond. Meta, Google, and Microsoft all have quantization research teams. Expect 1-bit variants of existing open models within months. PrismML's moat is being first, but first mover advantage in open source is thin. The real question is whether they can stay ahead. Their likely business model, enterprise support, a proprietary inference engine that's even faster, and custom model training. Open source the weights, sell the tooling. Here's the bottom line. PrismML put 8 billion parameters into 1.15 gigabytes. It runs at 40 tokens per second on a phone. It's Apache 2.0, and Khosla just backed them with $16 million. If this approach scales, and that's still an if, the entire economics of AI inference change. The cloud doesn't go away, but it stops being mandatory. The biggest winners are developers who can ship AI without server costs, users who get private AI, and the 2 billion people who finally get access. The biggest losers are cloud inference margins and anyone whose business model depends on charging per token for commodity tasks. We might look back at this moment as when AI stopped being a cloud service and started being a personal tool, small enough to fit in your pocket, smart enough to be useful. 8 billion parameters, 1.15 gigabytes. If this kind of deep tech breakdown is your thing, subscribe. We cover the AI stories that actually matter every single day.